Kia ora koutou everybody, good afternoon, it's your boy Max hosting the Black Jersey here on YouTube, and we are back in lockdown in New Zealand right now, which is very unfortunate, but hey, I get to make more content for you guys, so let's jump right into this new video about Ian Foster getting re-signed as the All Blacks coach for another 2 years till the end of the 2023 World Cup. This is a rather controversial move by the NZRU, and although he was the All Blacks assistant coach under Steve Hansen, you've really got to look at the context of this because winning percentage as an assistant coach does not tell it all, guys. Let's get into it. So I'm going to explain why the NZRU would have wanted to re-sign Fozzie, and I'll go over why he's also the All Blacks coach right now. So first off, Shag, who is the nickname for Steve Hansen, wanted to go off and go to Japan after the 2019 World Cup. So he said at the end of 2018, right guys, I'm not going to re-sign. I will not extend my contract any further past this World Cup. And I think that was a very good decision because it does get to a stage where you've had a head coach for a bit too long. And that is the case with Fozzie as well, I believe. Because New Zealand Rugby Union, as I've discussed in previous videos, has tried to keep a theme of continuity, as you can see in these videos over here, and I've linked them down below that I've previously made. Continuity can only take you so far. It does start to get a wee bit sickening, a bit annoying after a while because, you know, your opposition can start figuring out your tactics and you've got to reinvent a team in professional sports quite a lot, very regularly. Even though Scott Robertson has been the Crusaders coach for a very long time, he's got a constant turnover of players around his core group, such as Sam Whitelock or Richie Mo'unga rather, two very popular All Black stars right now. After Steve Hansen announced he would be stepping down from the role at the end of his contract, the New Zealand Rugby Union did not want to make a decision a bit too quickly because Steve Tew, who was the CEO, was outgoing as well. So he wanted Mark Robinson, the incoming boss, to make the decision about who the next head coach was going to be, and he chose to stick with the theme of continuity because quite a few great candidates had dropped from the race prior to him being announced as the CEO. Warren Gatland, who'd had an amazing amount of success as a head coach before, the former All Black himself, had signed on to coach the British and Irish Lions for 2021 about 6 months after Shag said he wouldn't extend his contract. Joe Schmidt, who was another leading candidate, a Kiwi, he said that he was going to retire from coaching, and he absolutely has to this day. He hasn't started coaching again. He said he was going to do that so he could look after his son with a bit of a disability, and good on him for doing that. What a great coach and what a great person, more importantly. Then Jamie Joseph and Tony Brown, who were also candidates themselves, decided to re-sign with the Japan Rugby Union for another 4 years. So that kind of pretty much left two candidates because Dave Rennie had also signed to coach the Wallabies. Scott Robertson had won quite a lot of trophies and he's won 3 more since then as the Crusaders coach. And Fozzie, who had never won a trophy as a head coach before and whose winning percentage with the Chiefs was only 50%. So at Super Rugby, Razor had had far more success, but the New Zealand Rugby Union looked to have Fozzie instead because they had the perception that he understood the environment, but they're also doing so without looking at the context of Steve Hansen's success as a head coach while Fozzie was his assistant. The context of all that success Fozzie had as an assistant coach was because Ted had given them a great All Black team to inherit. The likes of Carter, McCaw, Dag, Ben Smith, Sam Whitelock, all of them were inheritance from Ted's World Cup winning team from 2011. You could add the likes of Kevin Mialamu, Tony Woodcock, Andrew Hoare into that group, and as that group of players started to fade out from international rugby, it was just the likes of Kieran Reid and stuff at the end of that. So the win percentage for Shag as the head coach did start to go down a bit, and the tactics that Fozzie brought into the team as assistant coach were starting to get a bit old, but I said, no, we're not sacking Shag. I don't want that to happen because I don't believe Fozzie is the man to inherit the job from him, but that has happened anyway because to the eyes of most people, Fozzie seems like a very nice man. And when you've got a really nice guy like that as your coach, he's going to be really reassuring to the players when they're feeling just a bit down after a bad performance. And that's really great for the players, because the media and commentators like myself can be harsh sometimes. I understand that, but it does have its negative connotations as well, because sometimes when a player doesn't know how far below their potential they're performing, it can lead to disastrous things happening, like one test in your career, for example. An example of knowing when you've underperformed and when it's time to step up is Quinn Tupaia. Last year, he was terrible at Super Rugby, but this year, on fire, great return from injury, and now look at him, he's an All Black because he's playing well. And with Fozzie like that, being reassuring rather than giving you a rack up when you've been bad for weeks and weeks in a row, probably isn't it, because you've really got to balance the way you treat your players. Like, you've got to respect them, which is the most important thing, but you've also got to give them the hard word, the tough love, because sports is about winning, not about hugging it out. So while you need that compassion, you do need the tough side too. Importantly as well, guys, it was the All Blacks themselves who said to the New Zealand Rugby Union, hey, look, we back Fozzie as the head coach. You've got to re-sign Fozzie because we think he's a really nice man and he'll be able to lead us forward to win a World Cup. And so that's why Fozzie's extension has come after only about 11 tests. And his win percentage is 73%, but it is far lower than his predecessors, and I'll show you a comparison of All Black coach win percentages across the years, just so you can kind of see where Fozzie's fitting in at the moment. And the context of Fozzie's career so far as the coach is that he hasn't had to come across the likes of Wales or Scotland or France from up north to batter you up front in the forwards, and he also hasn't had the challenge of coaching us against South Africa, which I'm actually getting increasingly alarmed about, because the way the Box play is just so physical. Shout out to all my South African fans. So yeah, look, I don't agree with the NZRU re-signing Fozzie at all. I really don't. I'm going to back my opinion that they should have got Razor to start with. But if the players are happy with who they have as the coach, that's really good, because at least they can keep that team culture alive, keep their spirits up, and no matter what happens, I'm gonna back our boys. This is not going to become a Bok fan page, an England Rugby channel, anything like that, because when you're a patriot, when you're a team supporter, you do just have to rally behind your boys no matter how down the sticks are, and you've really just got to keep calm, carry on, all those kinds of cliches. And as long as you're backing your boys, they know that you've got their backs. They'll be able to perform to the best of their abilities. And I guess that's probably the most positive takeaway that we can get out of this contract extension for Fozzie. And hey, Razor is still in New Zealand. We can re-sign him if stuff does hit the fan. So thank you so much for watching this channel, guys. I'll try get another 2 videos or so done while New Zealand's in lockdown. Thanks so much for the continued support. Go check out the Patreon, the Instagram, the Discord server. I've got the link tree in the bio. Please like this video, give us a subscribe, and click the notification bell so you're always going to see the new stuff coming in, guys. I'll see you later, okay?